Professor PLO, not Palestine Liberation Organization, but Patrick Otieno Lumumba. I welcome you to this place and I assure you that with you here are your kindred from Isoko. For Otieno in Isoko means it is enough. Patrick Otieno Lumumba, a Kenyan with formidable Pan-Africanist credentials, was born on the 17th of November 1962. A lawyer by training, he obtained the Bachelor of Laws, LLB, and the Master of Laws, LLM degrees from the University of Nairobi. He also took a postgraduate diploma in law from Kenya School of Law, as well as a Doctor of Philosophy, PhD in law from the University of Ghent in Belgium. Professor Patrick Lumumba is an atavistic personification of a generation of African nationalists, ranging from Patrice Lumumba of Congo, Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Amilcar Cabral of Cape Verde, Sékou Touré of Guinea, Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya, Mwalimu Julius Kabaranje Nyerere of Tanzania, Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia, and of course, the younger Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso. Professor Lumumba is well known in Africa and across the world as a passionate speaker and advocate of good governance. Erudite and mercurial, bold and assertive, robustly endowed with a rare cerebral prowess, Lumumba has put his monumental intellect at the service of the African hoi polloi. The downtrodden of the African continent, from Cairo to Cape Coast, have come to find their impediments, hopes, and aspirations in the vision and voice of Professor Lumumba. Professor Lumumba had been the director of the Kenyan Anti-Corruption Commission, director of the Kenya Law School, Dean School of Law, Kabarak University, and founder, PLO Lumumba Foundation. One of the most sought-after public intellectuals and speakers in the world, Professor Lumumba is an avid intellectual militant, reverberating with the revolutionary energy of his Mau Mau ancestors. In lecture after lecture, Lumumba has had to take a hard look on the African continent, denoted by failed leadership, corruption, exploitation, and grinding poverty. His intellectual aura covers the entire gamut of the African predicament, from the pre-colonial to the colonial and the post-colonial. He is a gadfly and remains a thorn in the flesh of bad leadership. He is the author of many books and essays as he explores the core and cure of the African malaise and building on the intellectual legacies of Walter Rodney and Frank Fanon. Embedded in the vision and voice of Lumumba are the triple tendencies of the Africa of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Pro-Chancellor, Chairman of Council, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my utmost pleasure to summon Professor Patrick Otieno Lumumba to deliver the lecture marking the 30th anniversary of our great university, the Delta State University, Abraka. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nigeria has contributed many things to the world. But one of the most ingenious things they have done is to introduce the English language. I stand by the protocols already established.
I love you, sir.
It is ingenious because it ensures that nobody is excluded or irritated, whether advertently or inadvertently. And I'm therefore happy to be present with you on this occasion of the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the Delta University at Abraka. Like many speakers, as the orator waxed eloquent about my credentials, I wondered who he was talking about. And I, like many who claim modesty, wish that the ground could open and follow me for the whole period.
I love you.
But knowing as we do that the ground is made of concrete, I stood there jittering between shyness and something else. But behold, here I am. Let me say how glad I am. When we started our journey from Nairobi, Kenya, on Wednesday, the 27th day of the month of April, I knew not that I would arrive here almost 25 hours later in a journey that ordinarily should take no more than 5 hours. I had the honor of leaving Nairobi, Kenya, and inadvertently I found myself in Kinshasa, in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Perhaps now, with the help of hindsight, the man for whom I am named must have been saying, "Come ye and take from my spirit before you go to Abraka." And then from Kinshasa, I found myself going to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, the home of the African Union. And now, with the help of hindsight, perhaps it is the spirit of the founding fathers of the African Union who are summoning me and saying, "Come here and receive our spirit before you go to Nigeria." And as if that was not enough, I had to spend a night in Lagos, in Nigeria, once again the founding fathers of your nation, and I can hear their voices through the vicissitudes of time asking me, "Spend a night here that we may bless you before you go to Abraka." So it is the collective spirit from Patrice Lumumba in Kinshasa, the African leaders in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and your own founding fathers in Lagos, that I stand firmly here at Delta University in Abraka to talk about our mother continent. And you know, I was asked, "What are you going to talk about?" And without communicating directly with the Vice Chancellor of the University Administration, I said silently, "But what else can I talk about in an academic institution other than education?" And that is why I said I will talk about education, and not about education in Nigeria, but about education in Africa. And when one is talking about education in Africa, one must go down in history. and go back to it. Even in those days, there was some form of education. Whether it was here in the Delta, the young men and women who are being prepared for life went through some form of education to prepare them to serve their community. But then there came a time when people who thought that they were better than us came here. They were here in Nigeria, they were in Ghana, they were in Sierra Leone, they were in Southern Africa, they were in Eastern Africa, and they enslaved us. And they took the view then that we were children of a lesser God. Then they took the view that we had not been educated and that they had to educate us. But they did not stop there. They formalized their relationship with us. And many of you who are present here, courtesy of history, will remember that they congregated in Berlin, in Germany, in the year 1885 and 1884 and 1885 and divided Africa into their spheres of influence. I remember they were present there. The British were there, and they took the country that is today called as Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia, Kenya, and many others. The French were there. They took their piece. They took what is now Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and many others. The Spaniards were there. They went to Equatorial Guinea and then called it Rio de Oro. They may now call it Equatorial Guinea. They were there. And they did not stop there. The Germans were there. They went to Dahomey. They went to Tanganyika. They went to what is now Namibia. And they took their portion. The Italians were there. They went to Libya. They went to Somalia. And they took their portion. The Portuguese were there. They went and took Mozambique. They took Angola. They took Guinea-Bissau. They took Cabo Verde. And of course, we also know that the Belgians were there. They took the Democratic Republic of Congo and what they was then Rwanda and Burundi. And we also know that the Dutch were there. So that when they came into the continent of Africa, dividing it into little species, we, in a manner of speaking, were reduced into their robots. From that day henceforth, the entire agenda was to convert us into tools that would be used for their benefit. They came here and told us that our languages were primitive. They told us that in order to be educated, we have to speak French, we have to speak Portuguese, we have to speak their languages. They told us that our gods were not gods. They told us that everything we did was improper. They told us that we had to be educated anew. And lo and behold, the process of education commenced in earnest. They told us that our names were not good. They named us after their own thing. They told us that our food was not good. They told us that our hair was not good. They told us that our color was not good. They told us that there was nothing good about it and about us. They told us that we had to be re-educated anew. And that is how they started the process of educating us. Remember always that when the colonialists came into the continent of Africa, The education that they offered us was designed to make us tools for their benefit. Never for one moment imagine that when you had a school teacher, that school teacher was meant to take care of your affairs. Never for one moment imagine that everything that was done by the colonialists was designed to improve our lot. We were made to be the civil servants, and it is instructive that we were civil servants for the colonial power. And we served them faithfully, and we continue to serve them faithfully until the spirit that is ever resident in the human mind and heart started manifesting itself, and the struggle for independence started in earnest. And we fought. Here in Nigeria, you will remember the great men and women who fought in order to regain the independence that had been lost. Remember how they sacrificed. Remember how Nigeria was created. Remember how many nations were put together in the territory that is today called Nigeria. Remember how many sacrifices were made. I can still hear through the vicissitudes of time the voices of the great Africans of the day speaking from different corners of the continent saying we must regain our independence and that we must fight three enemies that had been created against us. The enemy that was called ignorance, the enemy that was called disease, and the enemy that was called poverty. I can hear your Nnamdi Azikiwe speaking loudly and boldly against it. I can hear your Tafawa Balewa speaking boldly and loudly against it. I can hear your own Obafemi Awolowo speaking loudly about it. I can hear the ambivalent Ahmadu Bello speaking about it, even if in those early days he had no faith in Nigeria. And I do not stop there. I can hear other African leaders speaking about it. And therefore, when I stand here on the occasion of the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the establishment of this university, the question that I pose to us, Whither Education in Africa? And I want to submit that is a legitimate question. It is a legitimate question because when we regained our independence, we made unto ourselves many promises. I can hear the great Osagias Kwame Nkrumah speaking at several places, talking about the value of education. I can hear him in 1957 speaking in Accra, Ghana, saying, when we regain independence through the instrumentality of education, we shall change the continent. I can hear him speaking in 1961 in Casablanca in Morocco, saying, we shall make the erstwhile colonizer recognize that we have the intellectual wherewithal to change the continent of Africa. I can hear him speaking in 1963 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, saying the same thing. And it's not only him that I hear saying the same thing. I can hear many Africans. I can hear Kambarage Nyerere of Tanzania speaking in Dar es Salaam saying, education will make us change the continent of Africa. I can hear Samora Moises Marshall saying the same in Maputo. I can hear Modibo Keita saying the same thing in Bamako, in Mali. I can hear many voices. But the question is, so many years after we regained our independence, so many years after we built many schools, so many years after we graduated many professionals, so many years, after we demonstrated to ourselves that we can run universities, what has changed?
Nothing.
You know, you will agree with me because you must, that many years after independence, we have no shortage of doctors.
Mm.
We have no shortage of engineers. We have no shortage of teachers. We have no shortage of professionals in all fields. But is Africa the better because of it?
Mm.
Has Africa realized our potential? Do we build our own roads? Or others are building it for us? When we are sick, do we have the confidence to go to our own hostels? Or we refuse to visit those hostels? When we have as much as acquired some middle class status, do we have the courage to take our young men and women to our universities, or we fear? These are the questions that we must ask ourselves. Because as I've said elsewhere before, Africa consumes what it produces not. And of course, produces what it does not consume.
Mm.
So today when we talk about education and where education is taking us in Africa, we must ask ourselves, what is the purpose of education? You know, sometimes when I think about the continent of Africa and I think about her many times, I ask, oh Africa, thou art the cradle of human civilization.
Mm.
Oh Africa, your great sons and historians like Check Hunted York tell us that it is you, Africa, that gave birth to civilization. It is you, Africa, who built the pyramids, which confound scientists today. You did that over 5,000 years ago. But I ask myself, oh Africa, why is it that today, when your sons and daughters want to build hostels, it is the Chinese in whom they are faith? I ask my mother continent. I look at Africa and I ask, oh Africa, you Africa who was in the business of producing great physicians, you Africa who produced great doctors, why is it that when your sons and daughters are sick, they run away from their professor that they have produced in their universities, and they go to professors in Europe and America? Oh, Africa, why, I ask? I ask you, Africa, you who has produced many architects and many engineers, why is it that when we get oil from your belly, even from the Delta State, we refuse to refine the oil? We allow the oil to be taken in crude from to the Netherlands and Belgium, and then we bring it back. I ask Africa, how is it, Africa, that your universities are producing graduates of agriculture,
Yes.
but when your sons and daughters in Nigeria want to enjoy jollof rice, they have to import it from Pakistan? I ask Africa these uncomfortable questions, because Africa, through our leaders, promised us that when we establish established our institutions of higher learning, that would be the magic one that would make us begin to do things ourselves, I ask. That is why, even if you do not agree with me, I ask, with our education in Africa, with our education, I ask, you Africa, which is the home of many great things, how is it that there was our first industrial revolution and you missed it, oh Africa? I ask you, Africa, there was a second industrial revolution and you missed it, Africa. There was a third industrial revolution and you missed it, my mother, Africa. I'm told there is now one that is called the fourth industrial revolution. Mother Africa, will you miss it again? This is the question why I ask, with our education in Africa. And I do not stop there. I ask Mother Africa, is that not through education that we produce cars? And I ask Africa, Africa, show me the car that you produce. Show me your equivalent of the Mercedes-Benz, Africa. Show me your equivalent of the Range Rover. Show me your equivalent of the Volkswagen, Africa. And Africa tells me we produce engineers, but we have yet to produce cars. I ask Africa, we are now in the era of mobile telephony, and I ask Africa, Africa, where is your Samsung? Africa, where is your Apple? Africa tells me we are still thinking about it, we shall produce it later. Africa, where is it? And I ask, with our education in Africa. And I ask Africa, you Africans invited me to speak here, and I see your sons and daughters immortalizing this occasion through cameras, and I ask Africa, where is your Kodak? And Africa tells me we have no Kodak. I ask Africa, where is your microphone? And he tells me for the moment we'll bring them from Japan and we'll bring them from Korea. And I ask, with our education in Africa, and as I sit here, I ask Africa, your sons and daughters present in this arena are adorned in all beautiful attire. And I remember that in Nigeria at one time when we started embracing education positively, we had textile industries in Kaduna. Where are those textile industries in Nigeria? And I asked, with the education Africa, and I asked Africa, why is it that your sons and daughters are wearing shoes which are made in Italy? And I asked Africa, you are the home of the equatorial forest. Why is it that your daughters are wearing perfume made by Christian Dior and carrying bags that are made by Yves Saint Laurent? I ask Africa, what is wrong with you, Africa, with our education in Africa? I ask Africa, oh, you Africa who has brought me here to Delta, which is very hot and which requires air conditioners. And I ask, where are the air conditioners that are made in Delta State? And Africa tells me, no, for the moment we'll import them from South Korea and Japan. We will make them a little later. And I ask, with our education, Africa. That is my agony about my continent. But yet, as Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere famously said, on the 6th day of March 1997 in Accra, Ghana, as we continue to worry about Africa, we will make many mistakes, and all civilizations have made many mistakes. But the mistake that we must never make is the mistake of giving up. That mistake we must never make. Because I can tell you that even as we talk about the impact of education in Africa, let us remember that we are very young since we regained our independence. Nigeria is no more than 52 years since she regained her independence. Other civilizations have been there and were never disrupted. And that is why it gladdens my heart when on this occasion we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of the establishment of the Delta University. And I have no doubt in my mind that we have had our failings as a people, but this university has made a contribution to this community, and I dare say, even to Nigeria. Because I do not remember who, if my memory does not serve me well, you will remind me. But I remember now. It is Oscar Wilde who once said, no matter how rich you are, you can never buy back your past. So our duty is to look forward to the future. And what do I see when I look to the future? I'm not a Jewish prophet or a Nigerian seer. No, I'm not. Nor am I related to one of them. But when I look at the future, I see good things. When I look at the future, a future that I have the advantage of looking at here in Abraka from Delta State University, what do I see? I see an Africa where the education that we are offering our young men and women will be able to revolutionize the way we think. You know, I always remember those famous words of the great African-American Carter G. Woodson in his famous book written in 1933, Miseducation of the Negro. He says, and I agree with him, if Africa is to realize our potential, what we must do is to re-educate ourselves because we have been miseducated for too long. Today, therefore, I'm saying as we look to the education in Africa, our primary objective is to re-educate ourselves, to unlearn some of the things that we are taught, you know, many times. And we who have gone to school are the culprits. We do not appreciate ourselves as much as we do. I give this example. A student at any university, but permit me to say the Delta University of Abraka, is admitted in first year and gains a bachelor's degree. Then he proceeds and gains a master's degree. Then he proceeds and gains a doctorate degree. Then he buys a car. When he buys a car, he is an alumnus of Delta University at Abraka. He does not buy anything to place at the back of his car to say the proud alumnus of the University of Abraka. He is now a lecturer at the university and attends a 2-month course at the University of Cambridge. When he comes back, he now puts an emblem at the back of the car, an alumnus of the University of Cambridge. You get what I'm saying? No self-esteem. That is how we must unlearn and re-educate ourselves. I hear people saying, for example, that the best university in law is Harvard University, and I ask them, whose law? Whose law are they best at? I am saying that we must begin to be proud of the things that we do. When we are talking about the best university in education in Nigeria, you are only competing against the University of Lagos, Ibadan, or Nsukka, or any of the universities. We must be proud of our own. And when I look at that future, and when I look at the young men and women who are at the back there, I see that indeed, as Chinua Achebe once wrote famously, in 1958 in his book Things Fall Apart. You are the young suckers that will grow when the old banana dies. I see an army of young men and women who are going to change Africa in education. And when I look at other areas, when I look at the area of agriculture, and I've had the advantage of driving through the lush land here in the Delta State, I see one day, because of the faculty of agriculture in this university, Nigeria will not be an importer of food, but an exporter of food. I look forward to the day when I'm sitting at a dinner table or at a breakfast table. I shall no longer be using milk from the Netherlands. I shall be using milk that is produced in Kaduna in Nigeria. I look forward to those days. I look forward to those days when you Nigerian ladies, and if you did not know, you Nigerian gentlemen, you are some of the best dressed men in the world, that one day the clothes they are making will not come from the Netherlands, but they will be made here in Nigeria. I look forward to that day. I look forward to the day when our leaders, whether they are of the political class, when they are sick, they will not be traveling to the United Kingdom or to the United States, but they will be treated here in Nigeria, because the truth be told, when they go to London or to Europe, the doctors that treat them are actually Nigerians. If only they knew. I look forward to the day when the cars that will be driven here in Nigeria will be made in Nigeria. I look forward to the day when our computer scientists will make unto us mobile phones. I look forward to the day when, as I drive to Abraka, the mannequins on which you are displaying your clothes will not be of white men and white women, but they will be black people. I look forward to the day. I look forward to the day when we shall be able to give meaning to our education that changes the quality of our life. You know, as I look to the future, I think about COVID. And when I think about COVID, I think about education. And I think how Africa has had to follow what she is told. When COVID came, and COVID is real, we were told to wear masks. And I see us wearing masks. But the masks are made in China. I look forward to the day when masks will be made here in Nigeria. When we were receiving vaccination, if you did not receive Moderna from the United States, or Sputnik from Russia, or Pfizer, you are busy complaining that the world has ignored us. Why should the world ignore us? I look forward to the day when Africans will no longer look for manna from heaven, because the last time I checked, God stopped delivering manna. God now gave us the intellectual wherewithal to produce our own manna. So, my fellow Africans, the future that I see is a future that is bright, but with a caveat. The future is not going to come and descend on us without effort on our part. You know, sometimes when I travel across Africa and I believe in God and I am a practicing Christian, but sometimes I think because of our miseducation, we even misunderstand God. Those of you who are close to God may think I'm now bordering on heresy and blasphemy, but I'm not. There are things that we can only do through education and technology, not through theology. So Africa must now remember was, go ye and subdue the world. And it's through education that we are going to subdue the world. We can only subdue the world when we use our intellectual wherewithal to change our circumstances. You know, as I drove to the university, after every 10 meters there is a church. I wish there were industries after every 10 meters. Because you cannot praise things into being, you must make them. So this belief by Africans that we are going to praise things to come into being. When was the last time you prayed a mobile phone into being? There is no such time. Let us pray all we can in order to worship our God, but remember that education is the only thing that is going to change our circumstances so that we prepare for heaven, but we do so in dignity down here on earth. And I have no doubt in my mind that education can help us achieve those things. So, ladies and gentlemen, as Delta University in Abraka celebrates our 30 years of being established, we must ask ourselves, what have we achieved? We must take stock. We must ask ourselves, now that we have been in this community for long, when our history is written, what shall it be said about? Have we improved the economy of our environment? Have we improved young men and women who are going to change Nigeria? Have we produced an army of young men and women who are going to change Africa? Have we produced an army of young men and women who are going to demonstrate to the world that we are capable of competing with everybody? Have we produced an army of young men and women who believe that they have the capacity to compete with anywhere and any university anywhere in the world? If we have done so, then Delta University, you deserve to congratulate yourselves. But even as you congratulate yourself, do so modestly, because as Nelson Mandela once famously said, and I agree with him, when you climb one mountain, you discover yet that there are many more mountains to be climbed. So I am sure that you have climbed many mountains. But let us not confuse molehills for mountains. Because sometimes we climb molehills and we think we have climbed mountains. You know, I've always remembered this, that for those who live next to a pond who have never seen an ocean, they call the pond the ocean. For those who live next to a river who have never seen a lake, they think the river is the ocean. For those who live next to the lake who have never seen an ocean, they think that the lake is an ocean. But when you actually behold the ocean, you know that your only value is to be a good droplet in that ocean. So, University of Delta here at Abraka, you are part of a great ocean called the world. You are a droplet of a great ocean called Africa. You are a droplet of a great ocean called Nigeria. I urge you to be a good droplet. You have walked firmly for the last 30 years. So today we are celebrating you because you deserve to be celebrated. But let us not forget that in celebrating we are merely re-energizing ourselves. And the energy that we are using must be an energy that gives us modesty. Modesty that allows us to say with Socrates that when all is said and done, the only thing that I know is that I know nothing, and that wisdom demands that I ever seek knowledge, because I have no doubt in my mind that in the great ocean of knowledge, you can never say you know. And if you ever say you know, then you are the greatest fool that ever lived on earth. So the University of Africa, go out there in the knowledge that we support you. Go out there in the knowledge that you must make a contribution to Africa. And for the young men and women who are passing through this university, my charge to you on this 30th anniversary of the creation of this university, you must remember that every institution is like a human being. When Abraka started, it made baby steps. It stated, and the steps were no longer baby steps. Then I believe that it had its adolescent stage. University of Abraka, you are no longer an adolescent university. You can no longer throw tantrums. You have now become a young adult, and I'm now telling you, you are in the world of adults. Go out there and walk and bestride the world of academics like the great Colossus and make changes so that your lecturers will be known for the patents that they register. Your lecturers will be known for the academic papers that they write. Your students will be known for the innovations and inventions that they come with, so that Abraka can be great, so that Nigeria can be great, so that Africa can be great. And if Africa is great, then we all can sit at the table of humanity and wait for the second coming, so that it can be said of us, we came, we saw, and we conquered.
I love you, sir. Wow.
Thank you so much, lecturer. A round of applause for him. We all agree that it was thought-provoking and quite inspirational. Thank you very much, sir.